Welcome to my channel, Loving Tales by HM. The story is A Tale of One-Sided Love. My first glance. Arif never considered himself a romantic. He had read about love, seen it in movies, but he never thought he would experience it himself until he saw her. It was the first day of college. A new beginning, a new world filled with unfamiliar faces. Arif walked into the lecture hall, scanning the room for a place to sit when his eyes landed on her. Yeah. She wasn't the most glamorous girl in the room, nor the loudest. But there was something about her, something effortless. Her long black hair cascaded over her shoulders. Her deep brown eyes sparkled with curiosity as she flipped through the pages of a book. A soft smile played on her lips as she chatted with a friend. Her voice like a melody he suddenly never wanted to stop hearing. For a moment, everything around Arif faded into the background. The noise, the nervous chatter of students, the dull murmurs of the professor setting up his notes. None of it mattered. He had never believed in love at first sight. But what he felt in that moment, it was undeniable. He took a seat 3 rows behind her, his heart pounding in a way he had never experienced before. From that moment on, Sia became more than just another face in the crowd. She became the center of his world. Silent devotion. Days turned into weeks, and Arif found himself drawn to Sia in ways he couldn't explain. He was never the kind to be overly expressive, and the thought of confessing his feelings terrified him. What if she laughed? What if she didn't see him the same way? So instead, he chose to love her silently, admiring her from a distance, cherishing the little moments that felt like personal victories. He noticed how she twirled her pen between her fingers whenever she was deep in thought. He saw how her lips pursed in frustration when she struggled with a difficult math problem. He even memorized the way she tucked a stray strand of hair behind her ear when she was nervous. He made sure to sit close enough in class so he could hear her voice, but far enough to not make it obvious. He didn't need to talk to her often. Just seeing her was enough. But in the quiet corners of his heart, he wished she would notice him the way he noticed her. The moments that felt like love. There were moments, small fleeting moments that made Arif believe that maybe, just maybe, she saw him too. Like the time Sia sat beside him in the library. It was purely by coincidence. The place was crowded, and the only empty seat was next to him. "Mind if I sit here?" she had asked, flashing him a polite smile. Arif had barely managed to nod. His voice lost somewhere in his throat. For an hour she sat beside him, her presence so close that he could hear the sound of her turning pages, the soft hum of a song she unknowingly whispered to herself. Another time she borrowed his notebook. "You have really neat handwriting," she had said, her fingers lightly brushing against his as she returned it. It was such a small compliment, yet Arif clung to it like a lifeline, replaying it over and over in his mind. Then there was the college fest. Sia was on the organizing team and needed volunteers. Arif, who usually avoided such things, signed up without a second thought. For the first time they spent hours together, planning events, arranging schedules, laughing over silly mistakes. For a while he allowed himself to dream. Maybe fate was finally giving him a chance. Maybe she felt something too. The heartbreak he never saw coming. But fate had other plans. One evening, as Arif was walking through the campus gardens, he saw her. Yeah. Sitting on a bench, her face glowing in the golden sunset. But she wasn't alone. Beside her sat a guy. Tall, confident, with an easy smile. His fingers intertwined with Sia's, their hands resting between them like a quiet promise. Arif felt his heart stop. She was looking at him, this guy, with the kind of warmth, the kind of love that Arif had always wished to see in her eyes when she looked at him. His stomach twisted painfully. He should have walked away. But he couldn't. He stood frozen, watching the way she laughed, the way her head tilted slightly as she listened to him speak. And in that moment he realized, Sia had never been his to love. That night, lying in his bed, staring at the ceiling, he finally admitted the truth to himself. Sia had never seen him the way he saw her. And she never would. Letting go hurts the most. The days that followed were the hardest. Sia's relationship with Adifir, the guy from the bench, became public knowledge. She talked about him often, casually mentioning him in conversations with friends. Arif tried not to listen, but it was impossible. He knew he had no right to be upset. Sia was never his. But knowing that didn't make the pain any less real. One evening, he found himself on the college terrace, staring at the city lights, lost in thought. His friend Rohan found him there. "You okay?" Rohan asked, his voice laced with concern. Arif hesitated, then sighed. "I don't know how to stop loving her." Rohan didn't respond right away. Instead, he leaned against the railing, looking out at the horizon. "Sometimes love isn't about being with someone," he finally said. "Sometimes it's about wanting their happiness, even if it's not with you." Arif swallowed the lump in his throat. He knew Rohan was right. Sia was happy. And that should have been enough. A new beginning. Graduation came sooner than expected. Arif watched as Sia and Adifir stood together, their hands entwined, their laughter filling the air. And for the first time, there was no ache in his chest, no longing. Just a quiet acceptance. He had loved Sia in a way she would never know, and maybe that was okay. As he walked out of the college gates for the last time, he took a deep breath. The world was vast, filled with possibilities. Maybe one day, someone would look at him the way he had looked at Sia. Maybe love would find him in an unexpected place, at an unexpected time. Until then, he carried his one-sided love as a bittersweet memory, a chapter in his life that had shaped him, but would not define him. And so, he walked forward, not away from love but towards something new. The end. This story dives deep into the emotions of one-sided love, the hope, the heartbreak, and the strength it takes to move on. It's a story of growth, of learning that sometimes love is not about possession, but about letting go.